Happy Monday, Commanders fans. Today I have my latest Commanders training report or training camp update here. 3 practices have gone by, including one padded practice earlier today since I last talked to you guys. So I've got my takeaways here over the last 3 practices. I'm going to let you know how Jayden Daniels is doing, some camp standouts, and some surprising people moving up the Commanders depth chart, at least in these early practices. Before we get into it today, though, don't miss a thing. Right here on the Commanders Report, subscribe for our extensive coverage of Commanders training camp all throughout the 2024 preseason. We're going to be going live for our preseason games here. Those are a ton of fun. And of course, we have live shows every single week. This week, we are going live not on our normally scheduled day on Thursday. Instead, we're going to be going live on Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. So tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be going live for the Commanders Report live show where you guys can get your questions on the weekly mailbag. I'll have some more takeaways from Commanders practice. Day 2 of pads is tomorrow. And then we'll also have a fun segment for you guys. So if you want to join us tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern time, do not miss it and make sure you click that subscribe button. So first up here, let's talk QBs here. And of course, you've got guys like Marcus Mariota, Jayden Daniels, Sam Hartman, and Jeff Driscoll all vying for positioning here. I think we all know Jayden is the future at this position, and he's eventually going to take over as the number 1 quarterback. But right now, there is a competition between both Daniels and Marcus Mariota, the free agent quarterback veteran that this team brought in this offseason. My first takeaway here, especially over the last couple of days, Marcus Mariota has been struggling. Lots of interceptions, lots of balls hitting the grass. It just doesn't seem like he's grasping this air raid style of heavy shotgun, heavy progression style offense that Cliff Kingsbury is bringing to the table here. Marcus is having a hard time getting through his reads, getting that chemistry going with his receiving weapons. And I do think Jayden Daniels has played better than him to this point, and it's honestly not even close. The first 2 days for Jayden were awesome, but over the last 3 practices, we have seen some chinks in the armor when it comes to the very promising rookie out of LSU. He's starting to show that he's human, okay? And that's okay. He's thrown an interception. I do think that the defense is clearly beating the offense generally. I do think Daniels is clearly showing he's the best quarterback on this team, but over the last 3 days, including today in pads, he did throw 3 touchdowns today, but there are some struggles and there are some little rookie hiccups here and there when it comes to Jayden Daniels' game. It's nothing super major. In fact, it's nothing major at all. I am not worried about Jayden Daniels. He has been awesome all throughout OTAs, and he's been generally pretty good in camp. But I'm here to tell you guys the truth. And if I told you that Jayden Daniels is not making any mistakes out there, I would be lying to you. He has thrown an interception. But at the end of the day, man, I really do believe in this guy, even though the defense is beating the offense quite a bit in the early portions of camp. Now, is that on the offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury? Is that on the quarterbacks? Is that on the personnel around the quarterbacks? I don't know. But the offense does need to do a lot better moving forward, okay? I think that the protection, even without pads, wasn't very good, but even now that the pads went on today, didn't think that the pads or that the offensive line really showed that they were doing much good today. There's lots of pressure on the quarterback, so that's one of the reasons why Marcus is having such a tough time is because pressure is in his face. I think Jayden Daniels is actually doing a pretty good job managing pressure, which is why he's looked a lot better than Marcus, but this unit headed up by new offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury does need to get things going. But on the flip side of that, guys, the defense is looking very good. They're doing lots of the stuff I've been talking about all offseason with the Dan Quinn defense, multiple fronts, simulated pressures, really tough on quarterbacks. So the fact that Jayden Daniels is holding his own against this style of defense is definitely a good sign about his prospects heading into the National Football League. So now fill in the blank for me. Down there in the comments section, the Commanders will have a top blank offense in the NFL this year. Do you think top 20, top 15, top 10 even? Let me know what you guys think for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. My fourth takeaway here is that rookie left tackle Brandon Coleman definitely took advantage of his first team reps. Andrew Wiley was out of practice here for the first padded practice of camp, and Coleman played both right and left tackle and played pretty darn well in both spots. Here is what Mark Tyler from Hogs Haven had to say about what Dan Quinn said when he spoke to the media before camp today. One major issue with Andrew Wiley at offensive tackle is his lack of contact balance, but Quinn has been impressed with Brandon Coleman's balance as a bigger guy. He's got really thick legs, man. He's got tree trunks for legs. One of the reasons why the Commanders really liked his profile coming out of TCU. And then he actually had a really impressive run block today. This comes from Linnell Willingham here. He says, Brandon Coleman with a monster block versus Cleveland Ferrell. Really good run defender, by the way. So if Brandon's killing him, that's a pretty darn good rep right there. Putting him down after Ferrell tried to run the hoop. So pretty much, man, I'm really hoping Brandon Coleman, really sticks out this year. If he can make, a really good impression year one, he could be a legit, whether left or right tackle this year. That would be huge for this offensive line because Andrew Wiley has struggled in the past, let's be honest. He gave up 9 sacks last year. Cornelius Lucas has been fine, but he's probably a replacement level offensive tackle at this point in his career. Good swing tackle, but maybe not a true starting left side tackle. Brandon Coleman does have the physical profile to be that franchise left tackle. I thought his tape last year at TCU was bad, even though he was injured. Then he goes to the Senior Bowl where he was supposedly healthy. Didn't play all that well at the Senior Bowl. Do think he has to clean some stuff up, but it's nice to see that the balance is really showing itself in Coleman's game right now. It's nice to see him really get things going in terms of being a blocker on the left side. Now, coming up here on the Commanders Report, more training camp takeaways here from these weekend practice sessions. But before we get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets to whatever event you choose. And guys, I'm somebody that likes to get tickets last minute, all right? And what that means for me is sometimes these ticketing apps, man, they drive up the prices the longer you wait till game time, all that stuff. Game time is the exact opposite, where the longer you wait before the event starts, the lower the prices get. They call them flash deals, and then also have the lowest price guarantee, so you don't have to be shopping around on all of these different ticketing apps to get the lowest price at any ticket to any event. And guys, it's not just sports. Not only could you get a ticket to a preseason game for the Commanders, but you could go to a concert, you can go to a theater performance, you can go to a comedy show. If you can get tickets for something, you can get it on Game Time. And what I love about Game Time is that you can get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event, all-in pricing, so you don't get slapped with crazy fees at checkout. I know you guys hate that just as much as I do. And flash deals, so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to the event. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. That's one word, all caps, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Okay, so let's get to my fifth takeaway here. This is something that has surprised me a little bit. Michael Dieter is getting a significant snaps with the first-team offense over Nick Allegretti at left guard. Now, I think that we all kind of assumed that Allegretti, being the first guy that this team brought in free agency, was going to be the guy with the leg up for left guard. But Dieter has apparently looked pretty darn good here, and he has earned the right to work in and really compete for this starting left guard spot with Nick Allegretti. This is definitely going to be a position battle that you're going to have to keep your eye on here throughout Commanders training camp, because I thought Dieter actually played pretty darn well with the Houston Texans last year as a backup that was asked to come in when they had some injuries last year. Thought he played pretty well. Allegretti played pretty well as a backup that came in and helped the Chiefs win the Super Bowl. So these are two kind of similar type of left guards. It's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top throughout training camp here. Sixth takeaway here, Tariq Castro-Fields, kind of an underrated cornerback in the cornerback room, in my opinion. He's working his way up here. He's had a really good camp, had a really good OTA portion of the offseason, and he's even working his way to getting first-team reps alongside Emmanuel Forbes here as the number 2 cornerback. Now, Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. are rotating Michael Davis and Benjamin St-Juste in at that number 2 cornerback spot. So right now it does seem like it's a true competition for that number 2 cornerback spot in this defense. And honestly, man, I think Tariq Castro-Fields, if he continues to show out, if he continues to make big plays in practice and then in the preseason games as well. It wouldn't shock me at all if this guy not only makes the roster, but secures a starting spot on the outside, especially if Michael Davis and Benjamin St-Juste can't hang. Now, who will be the starting number 2 corner for this football team this year? Let me know down there in the comments section. Type MD for Michael Davis, BSJ for Benjamin St-Juste, or TCF for Tariq Castro-Fields. Let me know what you guys are thinking down there in the comments. Another takeaway, especially today, I thought the new rookie tight end out of Kansas State, Ben Sinnott, has been starting to have a little bit of a drop issue. Now, there was a viral clip that went on social media over the weekend of him making a nice one-handed grab behind him on a short pass from Jayden Daniels. That was a great play, but he dropped at least 2 passes at practice today, and that's something you don't want to see, man. I think that Sinnott is somebody that you look towards. He does have shorter arms, okay? So what that means is that his catch radius isn't quite as good as other tight ends, so you got to really put it on him. He's a great athlete, man. He's got great shiftiness, great route runner for the position. He's got really elite quickness for the position, if you're being honest. That's why the Commanders drafted him so early. But the shorter arms does mean that the quarterbacks need to put it on him a bit closer to his body. And that's probably why we're seeing some of these balls hit the grass. Now, a name to watch here during camp, somebody that might be on the roster bubble but might be able to earn himself a special teams role, might be a backup safety. Tyler Owens, the undrafted free agent. He's an athletic freak, and it shows at practice, man. He already has a number of interceptions through the first 5 days of practice for the Commanders. He's flying around. He's showing instincts. He's showing an ability to find the football and turn the ball over. And I know Dan Quitt Jr. and Joe Witt Jr., those are 2 guys that really value guys that have that kind of instinct. So with his athletic ability, and now he's starting to make big plays on the practice field, watch out for Tyler Owens to potentially make this roster as well. And some good news on Johnny Newton. Before practice today, Dan Quinn spoke to the media, and he said Johnny Newton has no limitations at all heading into these padded practices here, and that's really good news, man. This is somebody that's had a foot procedure on on both of his feet, okay? So that's something that's, both feet, hopefully both of them are okay. It seems like he is fully back now. He's putting on the pads. He's participating in team periods in practice. So it seems like Johnny Newton is a full go, and he's going to be looking to earn a starting spot for week 1 on this Commanders roster. All right, that's going to be it for today's show, guys. Appreciate every single one of you guys that made it to the end. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button, because tomorrow it's Commanders Report Live, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you join us. It's going to be a good one here, guys. So until then, hail to the Commanders.